Hey, this is Politics with Laura. Okay, all right. Some of these politicians, you need to step down. You've been in politics too long. When you spend 30, 40, 50 years in politics, you have a tendency to be, how can I say, a Washington insider. And your policies, they don't help the nation, nor do they help your constituents. Nancy Pelosi announced that she's going to run for re-election. Now she represents San Francisco. Have you seen San Francisco? If anybody in San Francisco re-elects Nancy Pelosi, you most definitely have signed up another. Oh my God! It looks like a disaster zone there. It looks like Escape from New York or Escape from L.A. with what's his name, Kurt Russell. It is awful there. What Nancy Pelosi, the mayor, and other individuals, other public officials allowed um, San Francisco to become, it was on their watch, and that's what they allowed it to be. Now, I got to put some, say, the voters, and you voted for it. When you continuously vote for a party and they are not adhering to what their platform is about, and even if you don't agree with it, which is okay, but if you go along with it and you're suffering and you're complaining, that is your fault. But however, if you want to do something about it, get rid of Nancy Pelosi, get rid of her, and put someone new that has the values of your area. Now, Nancy Pelosi, in my opinion, is bad for the United States. What she has allowed and allowed to happen, voted for, perpetuated, and pushed forward. Yes, Nancy, you need to G-O, go, 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 go. And I don't mean the go-goes. We got to be. No, go.
It looks like Nancy Pelosi is not done with politics. In fact, the former speaker just announced today that she is running for re-election. This is after the longtime California Congresswoman stepped down from Democratic leadership at the end of the last Congress. She wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, "Now more than ever, our city needs us to advance San Francisco values and further our recovery. Our country needs America to show the world that our flag is still there with liberty and justice for all. That is why..."
Oh, come on. Liberty and justice for all. What kind of coffee or tea are you drinking? Somebody's spiking it. Because what your area looks like, it has nothing to do with justice for all. No. Justice for you. But the people who you represent are suffering. That's outrageous.
Why I'm running for re-election and respectfully ask for your vote. Signed, Nancy. Well, that's nice. San Francisco.
All right. Okay. You know, Nancy, I think you may win this re-election because you brought in enough illegal aliens. Yes, I said it, illegal aliens. That's what she did. Um, and told them to what? Vote Democrat, vote for you? You are putting American lives at risk because you allowed so many people to come in unvetted so that you can keep your job. Oh, man, oh my goodness. You got to GO. You have done way too much to keep your job and to work for whomever you're working for, because you don't work for the people of the United States. You work for some corporation, whomever it is that paying you. And now that I find out the only thing that we got to pay you is $10,000 for you to do the job that we elected you to do. Oh, please, please. It's outrageous.
Values, what are those? Like homeless people all over your streets?
That's big news, though.
Yeah, it is big news. She's 83 years old.
Speakers rarely stay on
after they're done with the speakership.
After they're done with the speakership. So.
That's very true. So she's 83. Mitch McConnell's 81. Dianne Feinstein, 90 years old. Joe Biden, 80.
Oh, they're older than Joe Biden.
Yeah, somewhat shockingly, given some of the things we've seen from him. But nonetheless, we have a little bit of a gerontocracy going on here. And I've seen over the past couple of years that, voters that I've spoken to and people who follow politics closely as well, people who are involved in the process, look at this and say, how on earth are these people still in office? Should we have age limits? Should we have term limits? Because the idea that our country is essentially run by a select handful of incredibly old people is kind of concerning.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to hear Republicans talk about, restrictions and limits on, on jobs. But
well,
I would just say that we have term limits. They're called elections. We should put our faith in the electorate. If you don't, then probably you should get out of politics.
I disagree with him. It's very hard to look at elections and think you're going to get a fair one when you have people that have no legal standing that are actually voting. Now, I live in the DMV area, and people come here do not have been here for a week. They got a driver's license. They have a social security number. They got food stamps, a Medicaid card, and a voter's registration card. Yes, they do. So they can't vote for the president, but they can most definitely vote for Nancy Pelosi, the mayor, all the Democrats maintain their stronghold. So I do, sir, disagree with you on that note, but I understand that by you being in corporate TV, you got to toe the line of what they want you to talk about.
Politics, or not watch or participate in politics, but that's how it's done. The states control elections, and the voters choose. The voters know what they're getting. I think the problem is treating voters like they're not smart enough to understand the person that they're voting for is old. I always thought about it actually as you think about some of the people who were reelected to office after they've committed sort of egregious mistakes in public. Let's probably shouldn't take this example, but as a Democrat, but Teddy Kennedy, the people of Massachusetts had the opportunity to keep voting for him after what happened at Chappaquiddick. And at some point, you have to respect the will of the voters.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. I actually somewhat agree with you in the sense that if there's someone who's doing a good job and their constituents like them and they feel like they've been representing their district or their state well, then they should have the opportunity to continue voting for them. But I also feel torn with this increasing average age of the Congress, especially when we look back at the founding of our country and how young so many of those thinkers were. There's definitely something to be said for the benefit of having fresh ideas and fresh voices. We see that.
And I agree with her. I do. Because we do need fresh voices.
Very frequently, the younger members.
We do need fresh voices, fresh ideas, because by Nancy Pelosi being 83, she'd possibly been in Congress for about 40 years? A lot has changed. Goodness gracious, technology has changed, and them understanding digital money, you might want to go take a seat, retire, spend time with your great-grandchildren. Mitch McConnell, please, retire, go home, spend time with your grandchildren.
Members of both parties have very different tenors and very different ideologies than the people who are in power. And unfortunately, there is just this grip on power that a lot of people refuse to get rid of. Yeah. And in the cases of people like Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, they make a lot of money by being members of Congress.
Well, they don't make money being members of Congress.
Oh, sure they do.
First of all, they both have wealthy spouses.
Oh, come on. You're not being straight. Nancy Pelosi and Congress already know what Wall Street's going to do. By them knowing what Wall Street's going to do, then they can go ahead and buy stocks. Come on now. Yeah, their spouses may be wealthy, but they're making a lot of freaking money being corrupt. Just a thought. Okay, just a thought.
Let's put it that way.
They both are very good at reading the stock market too.
They both married well.
They're experts at it.
They both married well. Nancy Pelosi's been in politics since she was in her mother's womb. So she was campaigning when she was 3 years old for her father.
That's a good thing you didn't abort her.
She's Catholic. They don't.
But she's pro-choice.
She is, as a public servant who serves not just Catholics but all people, even people who don't believe in religion. So you can be a Catholic and go to church every Sunday or twice a week, like the current president, and still believe in the right for women to be able to choose what to do with their own bodies.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. My goodness. No, he didn't say that. No, he didn't say that. Look, if you're a devout Catholic and you go according to the Bible, basic instructions before leaving Earth. I love that acronym. And you don't follow those basic instructions and you go off and do something different, you're not a devout Catholic. You are a devout, I don't want to say crawlyist, but you are a devout do as thou will. That's how, okay, I'm not going to get into all that. But
I mean, the Catholic Catechism is very clear about the issue of abortion, and it is.
So all the churches that Joe Biden goes to around the country, should they stop serving him in communion?
Yes, they should.
Okay.
They absolutely should, because
the Catholic Church doesn't seem to have a problem with divorce anymore.
Well, you're not allowed to get remarried in the church if you're divorced, so they do have a problem with that. And the issue with taking communion, if you're publicly supporting abortion, is that by publicly supporting abortion, you're committing a mortal sin. And if you go and take communion, you are compounding that mortal sin on top of each other. So yes, I believe anybody who knows about Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi's positions on abortion and allows them to receive communion, it is your duty as a priest to prevent your parishioners from compounding that mortal sin. Absolutely.
I think we should keep.
It is quite clear. Make this bigger. It is quite clear that the guy has his own idea of what the basic instructions before leaving Earth means. A lot of people go to church, don't open up the book. And then if they do, then they change it to fit their sin to make it okay. A lot of people do that. I call them casual Christians with a twist of do as thou will. They're part angel and part devil. And what do you get? Them. You may not like it, but hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Look, they changed the Bible to fit. Ooh, let me not even go there. Oh my goodness, but she's spitting facts. That right there is biblical text. And if you say that you're a Catholic and you're a devout Catholic, no, you are not. You are a devout, do what you want to do. Don't, okay, let me not go on a rant.
Religion as far away from government as possible.
Approaches governance. Everybody approaches governance with a moral ideology.
That's fine.
Just because some people's is religious doesn't make it any less valuable
when you are president of everybody, not just Catholics and not just people of faith.
Okay. When you're in government, the government was found on the Bible. Whether you want to believe it or not, it was. And don't go down that, don't even go down that road about the 14th Amendment. We're not even going to go there because that could be broken down even deeper. But the United States was founded on the base of the Holy Scriptures. And that is it. Look at the laws. It states it. Open up anywhere in the Bible or the Holy Scriptures, you're going to see the laws. So what he's talking about do what you want to do and live in color. I'm sorry, I made my coffee a little bit too strong today.
You're president of everybody. And if you start leaning on your faith to make decisions, then we have a big problem.
But if my moral clarity comes from my faith and somebody else's moral clarity comes from their atheism or whatever other worldview that they have, why is my moral ideology any less valid towards informing my political positions than that person?
Before he answers, I'll tell you why. Because if you use the Holy Scriptures, religion, as your moral foundation, it right there throws into other people's faces that they or that their moral foundation is inferior to yours. People tell me that. And that's what it is. So if you're an atheist and you don't believe in somebody who does believe, or someone who's a Satanist, and yes, there are people who do worship Satan. Yes, it is their God. Hey, whatever. It is what it is. But when you represent all people, you're going to have that moral foundation, and wherever that moral foundation comes, you're going to have people to reject it, just as you see that guy right there. He already has a problem. She said the Bible. He cringed. He cringed like she threw holy water on him or something like that. But let me go back to the conversation.
Not. They're equal. That's the point of having a president who's president of everybody. And that's the point of making decisions not based on personal ideology, personal belief. You make a decision on the best interest, the security of your country and of the people that...
Oh my, he's killing me here. You make the decisions based on the Constitution, what was written. We are a republic, not a democracy. Stop doing that flim-flam stuff that you're doing. And the Constitution was based off of the Bible. It's just that simple. Why you make it so difficult? I mean, I know why, but okay.
That put you where you are, who are not monolithic.
But the people vote for you based on your beliefs and based on what you say you're going to do.
Based on your public beliefs, based on what you're going to do for them. It has nothing to do with your religion.
But if
and neither should any law.
But if your religion is informing you of what you think is best for people, then you naturally can't separate out your personal morality with the positions that you take publicly that you think are for the good of the country or the people.
I disagree, because what I might think is right for me is not right for you. So I'm not going to
Okay. You had a politician up there in Montana who was in front of the Montana Assembly, a Democrat who was a trans activist, became a politician, and she's sitting there screaming on the top of her lungs, trans lives matter. I love trans, I love trans, I love trans. And she was saying that over and over again. So what are you saying, sir?
Pass laws or vote for laws that I think don't benefit the country as a whole, or I'm going to educate you as to why I think I'm providing a service for the entire country, not just one group of people.
This just doesn't necessarily work, though, because let's say, for example, that we all believe that murder is wrong. Somebody who wants to kill somebody is going to say, no, your law banning murder is not good for me. So why does it matter if you come to the decision that murder is wrong based on whatever moral framework you operate from, and mine comes from the 10 Commandments? Either way, we agree that murder is wrong, and just because some people disagree with us doesn't mean we're not going to pass laws about it, because we want to be legislators for everybody.
Government makes the law for everybody. the Ten Commandments might make up your personal moral compass, but they don't mean anything to a lot of other people.
The point is how you arrive at a moral decision, whether it's from a religious framework or not, should not determine whether or not that's a valid way of deciding policy.
Right there is the age-old question and the long argued division over this issue. Is it a moral issue, or is it a public issue? If it's a public issue, then it affects everybody. If it's a personal issue, you can have your personal view. But when it comes to the role of government and enacting law, you are enacting law for everybody, not just one group. Your personal feelings may go into how you decide something.
That's my point.
May play
exactly
a role.
My point.
May play a role, but you are making decisions not just based on your own personal faith. You're making it based on the service you're providing to the country.
But if your personal faith tells you that abortion is murder, and then you turn around and you go in public and you say, but I permit some people to murder because I don't want to decide for them, that's hypocritical.
Well, first of all right, this is going down an abortion rabbit.
Okay, this guy, to me, it seems like he's making up as he goes along. To me, I very well could be mistaken what he's saying. What do you think?
Hole.
It is.
I don't know if we want to go there. I don't know if any man should be telling any woman what to do with their bodies. I certainly don't want to. I want women to make that choice.
I don't see you. I understand why you wouldn't want. Okay, I'm gonna leave that
For themselves and their doctor. I really don't want government deciding that. So that's just me. I want government out of my bedroom, all right? And I want it away from my body.
Okay. The government provides us life, liberty, and property, hence life. And I'm going to leave it right there. That's what the Constitution provides for us in the United States. So, those of you who think you live in a democracy, you don't. The democracy comes from Congress. Congress gives an allegiance to the Constitution, which they break all of the time. Hence, Nancy Pelosi. She needs to go. But let's finish this right here.
You're certainly free to hold that position.
Thank you. So are you.
Anyway, Nancy Pelosi running for re-election.
Good for her.
She's
good for the Democratic Party. She's good for San Francisco.
Oh boy.
I'm happy she's staying around.
More rising after this.
I gotta say, I thought that was a good exchange, two polar opposites. And I think that when you are not speaking into an echo chamber, you have an opportunity to listen to other people, which the guy, I don't know. And I'll leave it right there. I do know. I get why he says some of the things that he says. I get why he sees Nancy Pelosi as a positive person for Congress and for San Francisco. If you take a look at it, people are pooping on the streets. I mean, hey, it's a big homeless shelter. So that might be his thing. Who knows? He might give money from it. I don't know, but and the woman, her values come from her faith. His values come from I don't know what. But I thought it was a good debate, and I think that having more polar opposites gives people, the viewers, a wider choice of hearing different opinions. And on that note, what do you think? Does Nancy Pelosi need to pack her bags and get the step and see you don't want to be you? Or do you think that she's doing a good job and the way the government is being run, Joe Biden, the way everything is going, is it good for you? And if you think so, please say something. If you think that it is Nancy Pelosi needs to go home, go take a seat and take a break, and that some new people need to come in, new and younger people with different ideas to make the United States a better country. If you believe that, put something down. On that note, I appreciate you for stopping by.